There's a carton in your fridge with a cow on it. Maybe a goat if you like something sharper. Maybe a plant pretending to be either. There is never a pig, which is strange because pigs are everywhere. They're one of the most widely farmed animals on the planet. They've lived alongside humans for something like 10,000 years. And biologically, they do exactly what a cow does. They get pregnant, they give birth, and their bodies immediately start manufacturing milk to feed whatever they just made. So why does that milk never make it into a bottle? Is it toxic? Does it somehow taste like bacon? Do pigs just not make enough of it to bother collecting? Is there some old taboo nobody talks about anymore, quietly baked into every grocery store on Earth? Humans aren't usually this picky. We drink cow milk, goat milk, sheep milk, buffalo milk, camel milk. In some parts of the world, people drink yak milk and reindeer milk without a second thought. We'll apparently drink milk from almost anything with a working udder and enough patience to stand still for it. Except the one farm animal most of us see, yeah, eat, and think about constantly. And it's not like nobody's ever thought about it. Pigs get milked in research settings sometimes. Small farms have experimented with it. There's no rule against it, no health agency banning it, no religious taboo widespread enough to explain a global blank spot this consistent. Whatever's going on, it isn't a decision anyone sat down and made. The real answer has nothing to do with taste and nothing to do with safety. It comes down to about 20 seconds of biology, happening inside the animal, a handful of times an hour, on a schedule that nobody but the pig controls. Once you understand what happens in those 20 seconds, you'll understand exactly why no one has ever built a dairy industry around it. The obvious guess is that pig milk must be unsafe or unpleasant, or biologically off limits somehow. It isn't. Pig milk isn't dangerous, and by most accounts that have actually tried it, it isn't unpleasant either. It's richer than cow's milk, thicker, more calorie-dense. There's a reason piglets grow as fast as they do. If anything, pig milk should be the premium item on the shelf, not the missing one. So whatever's keeping it out of your fridge isn't in the milk itself. It's in the getting of it. So if the milk is fine, why doesn't anyone milk a pig the way they milk a cow? Try it and you'll find out fast. A cow's udder works like a reservoir. Milk collects there between feedings and just sits, waiting for someone. A calf, a machine, a person with a bucket, to come drain it. The cow's body holds the milk for you, on your schedule. A pig's body doesn't work that way at all. A sow doesn't store milk between feedings. There's no standing reserve sitting around. Instead, her body waits for a trigger, a wave of hormone that hits all at once. And then every teat lets down milk simultaneously, in one synchronized burst. So how does a piglet manage to actually eat if there's no supply just sitting there waiting? Timing and a strict system for getting it right. A sow has a dozen or more teats arranged in 2 rows, and each piglet in the litter claims one within the first few days of life, then defends it fiercely for the rest of the nursing period. When the hormone hits, every piglet needs to already be latched on and ready, because the milk doesn't trickle out gradually. It fires. But here's the catch. That burst lasts about 20 seconds. Then it's over. The tap closes and nothing, no coaxing, no squeezing, no waiting around, reopens it until the next cycle rolls around, sometimes close to an hour later. Could a farmer just get good at catching that window then? Set up equipment, learn the rhythm, sync a machine to the burst? In theory, yes. And small experimental setups have actually tried exactly that. The problem is what's waiting on the other side of the effort. Even catching every single burst perfectly all day long, the total yield from one sow is a small fraction of what a single dairy cow produces without anyone even trying hard. You'd need a person standing by around the clock, waiting on a 20-second delivery that shows up on the pig's schedule, never yours. But that's not even the real deal breaker. The real deal breaker is what pigs were bred to do instead. Every dairy animal humans actually rely on, cows, goats, sheep, water buffalo, was reshaped over thousands of years of selective breeding to make milking easier and more productive. Farmers kept breeding forward the individuals that produced more milk, let it down more predictably, and tolerated being handled twice a day, every day, for years. Eventually, milk yield became the entire point of the animal. Pigs went down a completely different branch of that same process. Instead of being bred for sustained, extractable milk, they were bred for a different kind of output entirely, bigger litters and faster growth. A piglet can roughly double its birth weight in about a week and reach market size in a matter of months, not years. That single fact reorganizes the whole economics of pig farming around growing meat quickly, not milking anything slowly. Think about what a dairy farmer is actually paying for, not the cow. The convenience of the cow. The fact that her body does the waiting for you, so a single person can milk dozens of animals in one morning shift. Now, flip that around for pigs. To get anything close to that same output, you'd need roughly that many people, each stationed by a single sow, watching for a hormone surge with no clock on it. The cost isn't just higher, it's a completely different shape of cost, one that never scales down to something a farm could actually run on. Imagine running a coffee shop where the espresso machine worked for exactly 10 seconds, at some random moment inside every hour, and refused to be sped up, slowed down, or scheduled around. You wouldn't build a business on that machine. You'd sell something else instead. 20 seconds. That's the whole window. Cows were bred generation after generation to hand their milk over. Pigs were bred to keep growing instead. Here's the part that actually surprises most people. Even if you solved the 20-second problem completely, built the perfect machine, hired someone to stand by around the clock, caught every single burst without fail, you still wouldn't end up with anything you'd recognize as milk. Pig milk is dramatically richer than cow's milk, something close to double the fat, considerably more protein, a texture closer to heavy cream than anything you'd pour over cereal. That makes complete sense for what it's actually built to do. Piglets need to gain an enormous amount of weight in an extremely short window, so their mother's milk is engineered like fuel, not like a beverage. Solve the extraction problem, and you haven't invented a new milk. You've invented an outrageously expensive, outrageously rich cream that nobody was asking for. This is really a story about a much bigger pattern in how humans farm anything at all. We rarely ask whether an animal can technically produce something we want. Almost every animal on a farm can, in some form. What we actually ask is whether we can extract that thing cheaply, predictably, and at scale, over and over, without wasting a person's whole day staring at a 20-second window. It's not that pigs can't make milk, it's that they were never bred to give it away. And that relationship isn't even fixed in one direction everywhere on Earth. In parts of the Papua New Guinea highlands, where pigs hold enormous social and economic value, women have historically nursed weak or orphaned piglets at their own breast alongside their human children to keep a valuable animal alive when nothing else would work. Milk crossed the species line there too, just running backward from the direction most of us assume it has to go. That's the real lesson underneath the anomaly. Domestication was never really about which animals technically could do what. It was about which animals we bent toward doing it for us, and which ones we let keep doing their own thing. So, why don't we drink pig milk? Not because it's dangerous. Not because it's unpleasant. It comes down to three things stacked on top of each other. The milk doesn't wait for you. It fires in a 20-second burst on its own schedule. Even if you catch it, the yield is too small and the labor too constant to ever pay for itself. And long before any of that mattered, pigs were already being bred toward growth and litter size, while cows, goats, and sheep were bred the opposite way, toward yield. By the time anyone thought to build a dairy industry, pigs were never in the running. Next time you're standing in the dairy aisle, glance down the row. Cow milk, goat milk, if you're feeling adventurous. Oat, almond, soy, if you'd rather not commit to a mammal at all. No pig milk anywhere. Not because the pig has nothing to offer. It's sitting a few aisles over in the deli case, having already given everything it had to give. It just gave it as bacon instead of a beverage. Somewhere out there, a sow is extremely good at her job. She's just never once been asked to do yours.